Today, we're going to explore yet another classical element to our practice. In order to be in tune with nature, we somehow need to adopt some of the principles which are governing various activities. For example, rising of the sun, sunset, spring season, all such activities, flowering, the moon cycle. If we lead a life without any principle, without any guided pattern, it becomes quite chaotic. Take, for example, one of the most famous experiment in the science, which is called Dr. Pavlov's experiment with dogs, where he trains dogs. What they call it is a specific conditioning of a dog to a pattern, to a fixed pattern. He trained his dogs to take the meals at the call of a bell. He trained them first. He would ring the bell and offer food. So each time he would ring a bell, dogs would come barking happily, waiting for meals. They'd have their meals. One day, Dr. Pavlov had a very naughty feeling, a naughty idea. He rang the bell, but he didn't serve the food. What happened then? See? Dogs went on barking, and salivating profusely. A simple conditioning can create such a physiological response in a dog. Take another example which I would like to share with you from my studies as a pharmacist. They were taught diabetes and many other diseases in detail, but especially diabetes. They gave an example of a mailman who goes on daily. His routine is to daily deliver the mails, house to house. And perhaps he would be walking, who knows, 4 miles, 5 miles every day. One fine day, after serving the government for so many years, he was retired. Before retirement, he had to go for physical. His examination was done, perfectly declared in perfect health. 6 months later, he returns to the same doctor for yet another examination, and his blood report showed class 2 diabetes. A person who was declared 6 months back, just before retirement, there's just a startling difference between in his health pattern. For 6 months, he didn't do anything but became a couch potato, watching TV and things that he missed out during his working days. So the system, the physical system, physiological system, which was in routine, in a rhythm, was disturbed. Now all of a sudden he became a couch potato. Change of lifestyle. An immediate response was escalation in blood sugar level. Insulin was enough, yet insulin was not able to reduce the blood sugar content, because the cells, the body cells, they went on consuming a certain fixed amount of glucose because of his daily activities. When he was an active person at duty, he consumed certain calories. All of a sudden, that consumption came to an end. So body responds differently. So rhythm is important. All of a sudden, when we change something, at a physiological level, we suffer a lot. Some of the readings can be observed and monitored. Most readings go unnoticed. Imagine a lifestyle of a person who has no rhythm at all, doing things whenever. Such a life would be chaotic. So, when we adopt certain principles, especially trying to balance something, and one who is trying to embark upon an inner adventure, I think it is no less than having a discipline that one would demand in mountain climbing. For example, if you are planning for Everest climbing, imagine the amount of discipline you would have to have at a physical level. Such a discipline is, I would say, mandatory for a spiritual seeker, but it will not be so rigid at the same time. Let's see, if I plan myself to meditate 6:30 every morning, it's good to meditate 6:30 every morning, but let's say you happen to wake up late for whatever reasons and say now you're going to meditate at 8 o'clock. So let it be so. Or sometime you might even meditate at 5 a.m. in the morning. So a certain level of flexibility is okay. But this need to meditate should always continue. Once we establish this particular rhythm, it becomes a kind of conditional thing that at certain time your mood will elicit certain feelings that, okay, time to meditate. So this is what I call automatically at a fixed hour, you tend to meditate. Your inner system says, oh, let me meditate now. This is what I would like to call it as automatism. Also, automatically, one would be able to recall a certain meditative state. This takes quite a practice actually, and it is possible to recall any spiritual state at will. Second element of our practice is cleaning. Ideal time for cleaning is soon as we enter home. We complete this process of cleaning, which is done at the end of our working day. Instead of mingling with family right away, freshen up and clean ourselves so that we regain lighter consciousness, which is more friendly, more conducive, which is not emotionally pressurized because of the work situation. With such a fresh approach, which a lighter approach, when we interact with our family members, it's a joyous moment. Let us compare this moment of cleaning. Suppose if you don't do the cleaning, it is something like when you go to a gym and come back home all sweaty and you want to hug your little children. They would run away from you. Dad, you smell a lot today. When the consciousness is also polluted from inside, I think we also cast a certain shadow of our consciousness upon our loved ones. For example, if you had a bad day at work and you come home all fuming, you can see the atmosphere in the house, how everyone would become quiet. Instead of that, if you can go to your basement or in your room and just do the cleaning, okay, let's get rid of this baggage and freshen up yourself with a newer level of better consciousness and then interact with family members. It only promotes harmony, love, joy. Before going to bed again, when we offer prayer, and just before we offer prayer, let's scan through the daily activity and see where we went wrong, where we can adjust ourselves, we can correct ourselves, where we can fine-tune ourselves and say, oh, I could have done this better, or I shall not repeat this again. Such a resolve will help us so that continuously we can go on putting a check on wrong things and add something very special that, oh, I can improve myself in such and such a style. Then we offer a prayer to the Lord and say, My Lord, forgive me for all that was done wrongly. I shall not do it again. Simple prayers, such a resolve will go a long way. And remind ourselves through this prayer also that, My Lord, you are the goal of human life. We are yet but slaves of wishes, putting bar to our advancement. Thou art the only God and power to bring us up to that stage. And when we analyze these words little by little, it will convey to our heart a lot of profound meaning behind it, why each word is utilized in its own sequence, the purpose behind it. It will strike your heart in a very, very moving way. It elicits and invokes the presence of the Lord. And our heart will recognize it also, the response from above. With such a state of mind, with such a grateful heart, when we peacefully go to sleep, embracing the Lord in our arms, go to sleep and see the nature of sleep at that time. When you wake up, you are ready again for morning meditation. And after meditation again, hold on this meditative state as long as you can. And then go out into the world and perform the duties that we are asked to. This daily routine will change the quality of our life once and for all. At times, despite of doing all these practices regularly, the complete rhythm, there will be times when we say, oh, I don't feel like meditating today. It's okay. Sometimes you say, oh, no need to clean today. It's all right. But demand the best out of yourself. Is it all right for you? God is not here to punish us. Nature and all these things, as they say, they conspire together to help us evolve faster. So when we miss out something, don't be so hard on yourself. If morning meditation is missed, it's okay. While you're going in the train or in the bus, recollect one of your best meditative experiences and be one with it. It would also help when you think that, oh, I'm unable to meditate. It's a sign. It's a sign that you have reached a kind of a barrier and you are not able to cross it on your own. I would call it a barrier in consciousness, which is different from most of the barriers that we face in day-to-day life. It has nothing to do with laziness. It has nothing to do with dislike for meditation, because when we meditate, you have loved it always. Yet there are moments when you don't feel like meditating, because as I feel that years of observation has taught me one thing, that a person who loves to meditate, all of a sudden after 2-3 months of enjoying meditation, all of a sudden said, oh, I don't feel like meditating. And if this trend continues, that means you have reached some level of plateau or a barrier which must be crossed. Best thing under those circumstances would be to use one of those apps, Heart in Tune, and connect with the trainer. Either you can sit remotely with the trainer, or you can actually ask a face-to-face meditation session so that this barrier can be removed. You will learn over a period of time that why such barriers are there. There are many barriers in our system at each level. And who created those barriers? What is the nature of barrier and how we can cross them? What is the consciousness level at each barrier? I think we will take up this topic in our next series of talks.